what is the deal if Geno Smith does regress? Because if you remember, like, he was this huge, fun story in the NFL last year. They tried to write me off. I didn't write back, right? My favorite thing that happens
Yeah.
when you see someone like Geno have an inkling of success, everybody starts to tweet out, the apologies better be as loud as the disrespect, as if there was like mountains of people disrespecting Geno Smith. He was just a backup for a while. We weren't even that mad about him. But if he regresses, is the disrespect allowed to be as loud as the apology was? Like, how does that work? Because he got his money, right? And now people are saying, like, this could be the third best team in the NFC. We don't really know. I think Dallas is better. I think New Orleans could be better. But who knows? Like, Seattle could be the third best team. If they go like 7-10, 8-9, he plays the entire season, he's just not the same guy. Like, what does Seattle do at that point? Because they've invested so much money into this guy. Their receiving group and their skill position guys, Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker, Jackson Smith-Njigba, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, all these guys are talented players. What does Seattle do in that case? I'm very curious. They are one of the biggest wild cards in the NFC because I could easily see them exceeding expectations again, winning 11, 12 games, just as much as I could see them falling short, winning 7 games.
It's a team that had a win total of 4.5 heading into last year, and we were questioning whether they could even go over that win total. I mean, think about where we are. So that just shows, like, it all rests on Geno Smith. Now, granted, they had a good draft, good offseason. They've got talent on defense as well. It's not just about the running backs or, any other skill positions that they have. But, you sit here and you look at this team and go, yeah, it's as far as Geno Smith can take them.
Who has ever regretted drafting Justin Jefferson? Ever. Nobody. That's who. Meanwhile, Christian McCaffrey daggered owners in 2 of the last 3 seasons, right? So, I mean, I just look at the safety. So, okay, let's just talk broadly here for a minute. Your most valuable picks are your first-round pick, your second-round pick, your third-round. These are the most valuable picks. Why are you going to put those most valuable picks into the position that has the most turmoil? And that's the running back position. There's more failures, more seasons ending early, more injuries at that position than any other. You really should be using those mid-round picks on running backs and go get the safe, proven players at the other positions, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, with those early picks as a general rule. And that's why I would take Justin Jefferson first overall.
Hey, where do you rank some of the other wide receivers after Justin Jefferson? Like, Cooper Kupp is a name, obviously, that comes to mind for me. Somebody that was Offensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl MVP a couple years ago, hurt last year. The Rams season was basically just a wash. When you go head into this year, is it about being maybe a little more cautious, or should we go, oh, yeah, it's going to be Cooper Kupp, the same guy again?
Even as bad as things went last year, and they were going bad before Stafford and Kupp got hurt. Remember, things were still pretty upside down for Los Angeles in that first half of the season. When Cooper Kupp got hurt, he was the highest scoring fantasy wide receiver in the league. So I feel like this whole offense is really designed to work through Cooper Kupp. The next best player on the offense outside of Matthew Stafford is, nobody. I mean, this whole offense goes through Cooper Kupp. It's going to continue to go through him. And as long as he can play, Sean McVay will scheme the ball to Cooper Kupp no matter what it takes. He's my wide receiver 3. You mentioned Jefferson, Chase. Cooper Kupp right now going in the middle of the first round, and I don't have a problem with that for the reasons I just talked about. We're taking receivers in that first round, and I think I'd go back to the well in Cooper Kupp.
Where does Tyreek Hill fall in your list? Is he right beneath him at 4, or does he fall down because of the splitting of the reps with Jalen Waddle?
Yeah, I've got him at number 4. It's turned into, for a guy who started his career as like a boom or bust player, where he'd have big games and he'd disappear, Tyreek Hill's turned into a very, very consistent performer since going to Miami, and I feel extremely safe with him. Yeah, Jalen Waddle's awesome. He's my number 11 wide receiver. Like him, too. We just need Tua to stay healthy. As long as Tua stays healthy, and even if they got to go to Mike White, he can probably get a little something done. So, yeah, I've got Tyreek Hill at 4, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown. Expecting a big move from him. He clocks in at number 5.
Talking to Paul Charchian and BetMGM tonight. What about some of the younger receivers? I mean, we had this massive draft class of 5 receivers taken in the first round, and Chris Olave, I love him this season with Derek Carr and the Saints, but obviously Garrett Wilson having Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football that's a massive upgrade considering what he had at quarterback last year. Well, out of those younger receivers, especially the ones that were, part of that draft class, would you put Garrett Wilson at the top there?
Yeah, for sure. And he's my wide receiver 6 this year. And if I were to project to next year and say, all right, who's the number 1 wide receiver next year? Knowing that Kirk Cousins may not be in Minnesota, it might be Garrett Wilson. He could be the highest drafted wide receiver at this time next season. Everything trending up for that guy. The fact that he was able to be a top 10 fantasy wide receiver last year with Joe Flacco throwing one-hoppers to him and Zach Wilson. Garrett Wilson, just such an outstanding talent, and there's so much to build on in that great season. And, you're talking about some of the younger receivers. My highest-ranked rookie receiver, Jordan Addison in Minnesota, walks right into the starting role. We haven't seen a ton of him because he's been on and off hurt, and that does worry me just a little bit. But the flashes we've seen in training camp, the first preseason game, suggest Jordan Addison is going to be the starter week 1 for the Vikings and walk right into that Thielen role. But unlike Thielen, he should be able to get separation and downfield ability opposite Justin Jefferson. He'll face nothing but single coverage all season. It's a great spot for Jordan Addison, too.
Justin Jefferson wins the Triple Crown at wide receiver. At BetMGM, you can find him at plus 550 for most yards, 12-1 for most touchdowns as I look off and check my script, and 6-1 as most catches. He's the favorite. Denton, change my mind. Mr. Jefferson will win the Triple Crown.
I will absolutely change your mind because Justin Jefferson is not going to lead the NFL in receptions. He might lead in yards, he might lead in touchdowns, but he will not lead in reception. There's too many other talented wide receivers, Scott, across the NFL that are going to get the ball. I look at a guy like Stephon Diggs. He was mad this offseason. How do you keep him happy? You give him the football. They say winning cures all. That's not true because Buffalo wins a lot and he's still mad. You cure him by giving him the football. I like Stephon Diggs to take the crown, if you will, in receptions. So no, Justin Jefferson is not going to win the Triple Crown.
I mean, if there was anybody to do it, Justin Jefferson certainly feels like a great option. I'm going to go the other way here, and I'm going to say yes, damn it, because what's going to happen for the Vikings is that they're going to be down every single game with that horrible defense. They won 13 games last year, and they were the 31st ranked defense in the NFL. Justin Jefferson, 128 catches last year, 1,800 yards, 8 touchdowns. The touchdowns, a little bit lower. He's going to have to get more in the end zone even more. But you know what they've got? You got Jordan Addison on the other side of the field that can at least take some level of attention away from Justin Jefferson. Not a lot because he's the best receiver in the NFL, but it's just a little bit to give him that edge. With the fact that the Vikings will probably be playing from behind, right? Talk about quarterbacks, got to lead your team from behind. Well, we saw it with the Vikings last year multiple times. In fact, they had the greatest comeback in NFL history last season. They're going to have to do that same type of thing again this year, and it's going to be because of Justin Jefferson. So, yes, you know what? I'm in. Justin Jefferson, Triple Crown this year. Let's go, Scott.